hot bar. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up over the park, we came from nothing to something, nigga. I don't try nobody, grip the trigger. But call up the gang and they come and get gang. Grab me a river, give you a tissue.
What is up, guys? It's BT back here again with another battle. Today, we are gonna be looking at a battle between two of my favorite over-ear headphones, the Beats Studio 2s and the Sony XB950N1, both of which are wireless. Now, in my opinion, both of these are great, but there can only be one winner. So let's find out who comes out on top today. But before we begin, let me know down in the comments below who you guys think won. Who do you think won this battle between these two? So let's kick this thing off with the comfort and design. Now, Beats has always been subject to hate because of their build quality to price ratio. And as of right now, you can find both of these for roughly around $250, but before, they were running about $400, which I don't think they were worth. Now, I do feel like the Studio 2.0s were Beats' best product before being bought out by Apple. Now, of course, the Beats X are a little bit better. So, the design on these, they're both matte. I have both matte versions of these headphones, but I do feel like the Sonys feel a little bit more premium. They actually feel like matte, whereas the Beats kind of still have a glossy feel to them. So I feel like Sony used better materials. Also seen with the headband. The headband on the Sony, they both have metal bands in them, but the Sony, it just feels a lot sturdier. You feel like you got your money's worth with the product. Even on the headband on the Sony's added faux leather at the top, which is a nice feature. It's a lot softer. The rubber that they put onto the Beats, which is can be uncomfortable at times. Now, speaking of leather, they both have leather cups, faux leather cups. Over time, my Beats have been worn out. They've flattened out over time, whereas the Sonys, even though I just got them, they still have kept their shape really nicely. So that's one thing you might want to keep in mind. Although I do like the design of the Studio 2s, how close they stay to your head when you put them on. They're not going to be fanning out like the Sonys do, and therefore it makes it a lot better if you're going to be using these for gym purposes. The one thing that I was worried about with the Beats is that the hinges would break over time, but over 2 years, they've actually held up very nicely. But the Sony hinges just feel sturdier, and I feel like they're gonna last all of us a longer period of time. Now, the controls on the Sonys and the Beats are completely different. Sony gives you more control over the noise cancellation and bass by adding buttons right to the headphone where you can just tap to turn them on or off. Beats is a little bit more simple. They just have the usual volume up and down buttons and the play and pause buttons. The play pause buttons on the Sonys are my favorite thing in this whole world, guys. I love the trigger sliding mechanism compared to the 2 to 3 times you have to press on the Beats to go forward and back for your tracks. It's just a more surefire way to change your songs. See what I did there? Trigger, fire. Okay, you get the point. So at the end of the day, the better materials and the button styles of the XB950N1s have won me over, and they've also won the comfort and design round. Now let's make our way into the sound round now. Both of these headphones are meant to appeal to the bass heads out there, let's be honest. But one just does it better than the other. Now, Beats gets a lot of shit for their muddiness, and sometimes I feel like it's just well deserved. Not to say that the Studio 2.0s sound bad, but they definitely lack a certain clarity to them that you'll find with other brands, especially at higher volume, where they just tend to rattle. Like, it makes you feel like the headphones cannot handle the volume that you're putting out, the bass that you're putting into the headphones. So it's almost, it sounds cheap in a way. Whereas the Sonys, they rumble, and they rumble all day and night, but in a very, very satisfying way, while keeping the clarity and the mids very clear. So if Sony can do it, Beats, I believe in you. For an extra $150, you can put some clarity into the Studio 3.0s. So this round has to go to the Sony XB950N1. They even have an app where you can control how much of the extra bass you want when the extra bass is turned on. While Beats is just a one-size-fits-all, and sometimes, frankly, it just doesn't fit. Now, moving on to the noise cancellation, one of the biggest things that stands out to me is that Sony lets you control whether you want to have your noise cancellation on or not. Whereas the Beats, it's always on. And not only that, the Beats noise cancellation isn't that great. It's supposed to be active noise cancellation, but it's more passive. They just play static over your songs, hoping that it will kind of block out some of that underlying noise that may come into your headphones. And it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you mess up the quality of the sound? And not only that, you're not even giving us great noise cancellation. So that's why I like Sony, because they actually put in noise cancellation that actually cancels out the frequency that is coming into your headphones. So what Sony has done is they put a mic on the outside of your headphones. So let's say you hear a baby crying. That baby crying is going to be heard by the little mic on the outside of the headphones. And then what happens is Sony then sends out another frequency into your ear to block out that sound. Noise cancellation. That's how it's supposed to be done, Beats. So they need to go back to the drawing board and try again. So this round goes to the Sonys. So next up, let's go to the battery life. Now, the battery life on the Beats is 12 hours, whereas the battery life on the Sonys is 22 hours. It's a big disparity, but for my usage, for my day-to-day usage, 12 hours has been enough for the past 2 years. But just having that extra 10 hours for when I go on a flight, maybe I want to go on an international flight and have a layover and I don't want to be charging it, the Sonys are going to be way better. So if that's something, if that's you, go with the Sonys. So the connectivity is also great on both. I never have any issues with the connectivity with both of these, no breakups, so this round's a tie. If you're going to be using these for business calls, then you won't be disappointed because both are great. The other people can hear you just fine and you can hear them just fine. So call quality, another tie. All right, so this one, guys, was a complete blowout by Sony. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Sony won this one. Beats really needs to come up with something great this coming year. Hopefully Apple can help them out a little bit with the noise cancellation, get something great into the headphones. And I believe that's why it's taking them so long to actually come out with the Studio 3.0s, is because my wishful thinking and my intuition tells me that Apple is putting in some kind of noise cancellation technology into the Studio 3s. So, guys, if you're on the fence or debating between these two, go with the Sonys for now. We'll see what Beats has in the future, but for now, Sony wins. Alright guys, so before we go, I want to tell you guys, I want to send out an invitation for you guys to comment down below and tell me a headphone that you want to see reviewed, or maybe that I don't even know about. Put me up on some new headphones. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.